Hello everyone, my name is Rick Passek, FlyFish Fanatic. Welcome to my tying bench. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat this morning. Today we'll be tying another Chironomid pattern. It's kind of my version of the summer duck. It's not really the summer duck, but it's kind of a shiny version of the summer duck. If you want to call it maybe the summer duck Cromie, I don't know, something like that. So, okay, here we go. So in the vise today we have a Hends BL 554 in a size 12. I will be using Semperfli classic waxed in rust, 12/0 for the body, for the underbody. I will be using, obviously I've got a white bead there. That's a pretty ugly one, but whatever. It's a bead. I'll be using some gold holo tinsel in a medium, and I'll be using some stretch floss in brown. And that is it. Well, and then a little bit of nanosilk for a hot spot, and a red hot spot at the front when I'm done. So I'm just going to start my thread as always. Nip off the tag. And the first bit here, building up a taper. So I'm just going to go back a little bit, come back again. This is the boring part of the video, but back to about the tip. Touching wraps, come back. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, it would have to be perfect if I was using this as the body, but it's an underbody, so it's just to form the taper and to tie in the materials, right? So now I'm going to go back to the very back to where I want to stop, roughly. Come back right around this corner. Try not to get... And then I'm going to come back again. Yeah, this classic wax by Semperfli, really nice material, like really nice thread, in a myriad, absolute myriad of colors. Love the colors that they've got in it. Is it any better than any other wax thread? Maybe a little bit, but color-wise, it is phenomenal. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. Go to there, and back, and then back again to about the hook point, and back, unspin my thread a little bit, all the way back to the end. This should do for my taper building. Now that just gives me the basic taper contour, right? So, so now, first material will be the stretch floss. Just gonna get that caught in, and I like leaving a little bit of extra out the front, just so I've got something to grab onto when I cut it off. Because tying in the little tip can be a little bit of a pain, so I just do it that way. Yeah, you waste a 1/4 of an inch every time, but whatever. This stuff, I think I can tie like, with this, what I'm doing with this one, I can do like 8 or 10 Chironomids with one strand, so I think a 1/4 inch is not going to worry. So now I just grab a hold of that, give it a really good stretch, and nip that off. No, it's out of the way. If you kept that too tight, then you end up having to grab it, right? Having a tough time to grabbing it. So let's see. There's I was just looking for my tinsel that I already prepped and cut off, but I found it. Same thing here. I'm just going to do it a little bit over, but and not too tight. And now I'll pull it in till it's in behind that bead there. And now I'll hold it on my side and just follow all the way back to the tie-in point. Don't worry about all those little fluffies there. Obviously I must have nicked the hook tip, but I don't worry about it. Go right to the front. Okay, just don't worry about it. Now you could, if you wanted to, hit it with a lighter. I'm not gonna, because often you'll end up burning your thread off or something. So should be fine. It'll all get covered here anyway. So I'm just touching, overlapping, slightly overlapping wraps. If a little bit of this, that's why I use the rust color, because if a little bit of it shows through, it's not a huge deal, because it kind of matches the next step here, the rib. So come right up behind. Don't worry if you're not all the way behind, because it's going to get covered anyway with the next material. Just want to be close to there. Okay. Now, with this, I give it a whip finish here, because quite often when I start wrapping that, I bump the thread, and then guess what happens? The tinsel comes undone. So get that out of the way. Nice stretch at the back, really nice stretch. Give it one full wrap, and then really good stretch, and then loosen off just a little bit, and off just a little bit, and a little bit more, all the way up, just loosening as I come forward, so the rib gets thicker, if you want to call it that. I'm just going to shorten up my thread here, and I'll bring this over, tie that off, tie that off, tie that off, do one more, just to make sure it's all tied off. I'll give it another one just in case. Give that a really good stretch. Yep, that sucks that back in right away. Whip finish. Give that a nice tug, make sure that's tight. Nip that off. Just smack it real quick with a lighter. I'm just kind of waving the lighter underneath it. It just gets rid of some of that fray. Red nanosilk. Just going to create a little bit of a hot spot. Now I do use a floss as well on my larger chironomids. Like if I want to go to a size 10 or something, I'll use a red floss, just because it's got a bit more punch of color. But this does just fine. It's just a little punch of red that I want, a little hot spot. Right? So just gonna build up a little bit of a head. I'm just gonna put a little bit, one more set of whip finishes right in behind this. Right there. There we go. And up, all the way up the head. Nice and tight. That's it. Now I'm just going to coat it. So now you can, there's obviously many different ways you can coat this. You can coat it with UV. You can, this one here was coated with Sally Hansen's. Okay, 2 coats. This one here was done with a UV. Oops. Right? You see how dark, how that gets quite a bit darker when you do the UV. So again, I like having both in. Oh, sorry. You know what? No, this is one that the tinsel broke off on me. So you can see on the other side there's no tinsel because it broke off on me. So, but you see that. So it's just a slightly different, but it does darken it a bit. So this one I'm gonna do with a little bit of UV because I want it just slightly darker. I don't want it too shiny, but I don't want it too dark either. So just a little bit on top, A little bit on the bottom. That might be a little too much, but we can wipe it off. You really make sure that head area is done. And this, get all these, make sure the ribs are all covered. Just going to take just a smidgen of it off. Just a little bit there. Just going to let it sit upside down like this because that'll help let it flow to the top. That's pretty good there. Okay, and then zap it with your light. And then I'll show you what the finished product looks like. See that red? Just it because it's the nanosilk, which is not a really bright color. The nanosilk's almost iridescent, right? So it's definitely not going to be as bright of a hot spot as if I was using the floss or whatever. So there it is finished. And like I said, there's the one with the floss. You see how much redder that is, right? So, but it just all depends on what you like. So, alrighty. So that is it. That's the finished product. Sometimes I'll do a couple more extra wraps of the flexi floss, just to get more. First of all, more ribs, and second of all, less of the gold showing. But I like, as you guys know, I like having a variety in my box. So, alrighty. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not, please consider doing so. Spread the word. I'm working on a big package for the 2,000 member giveaway, which will be a while yet, but I'm working on a big package, fly tying materials, and hopefully some maybe even a vise or something, if I can get that. That's a hope, but we'll see. Alrighty, well, tie lines, everyone.